Now let's try for a different example, this time one in which we're given all three sides, and we have to solve for all the other missing angles right here. And we're going to start with the law of cosines, because once we have one of those missing angles, we can resort to the law of sines to find all the other missing information. So let's go for it right here. Our example here is we're going to let side A equal 12. Let me write this on my board. So I'm going to have side A is equal to 12. I'm going to have side B equal to 10. And we're going to have side C equal to 14. All right. Well, how do I know which one to solve? Here's my biggest advice. Always solve for the largest angle first. So now we look at the sides. How do we know what the largest angle is? So our rule was that the largest angle is always opposite the largest side. Where's the largest side? Well, here it is, 14. So we're going to solve for angle C first, and that means that we're going to have to set up C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2 times the product AB times the cosine of the missing angle C. Right, this is going to avoid, by the way, looking for the largest angle is going to avoid one of those ambiguous situations that we could possibly run into. So we substitute in with the information we know. That if we take the square of 14, it should be equal to the square of 12 plus the square of 10 minus 2 times the product of 12 times 10 times the cosine of the unknown angle C. So when we work this out, we're going to have to do a little bit of algebra right here. 14 squared. Let's see. 14 squared is 196. That would be equal to 12 squared plus 10 squared. That's 144 plus 100. So that's 244 minus 2 times 12 times 10. That's 240 times the cosine of C. Now remember, order of operations here, you cannot subtract these two, right? You're subtracting the entire quantity of 240 times whatever the cosine of C would be. So by using our order of operations, we would really have to subtract 244 from both sides. So we're going to subtract 244 on both the left and the right. So if we subtract 244 from both sides, of course that drops out from the left, we're going to get our difference right here of negative 48 and that's equal to negative 240 times the cosine of C. So we have to divide by negative 240 on both sides and reduce our fraction. So negative 240, negative 240. Of course, this becomes positive 1. So we're going to get cosine of C will equal, this reduces to 1/5. And of course, 1/5, that's 0.2, is equal to cosine of C. So we would take the inverse cosine of C right here. Inverse cosine of 0.2 to get our angle C, and using our calculator right here now, we would take 0.2, take the inverse cosine, and we would get 78.46. So 78.46 degrees. So now we're in a position where we can use angle C as a means of getting the other values right here. So now I'm going to go for angle B, the smallest angle. All right, so that means that by the law of sines, I would have to say that the sine of the angle B divided by the length of its opposite side, which is 10, is going to equal the sine of the angle C that we now know, 78.46 degrees, divided by its opposite side length of 14. So sine of B would be 10 times the sine of 78.46 degrees divided by 14. So getting out our calculator to work on that. Let's see. 78.46 degrees. We take the sine of that number. We multiply the result by 10. We divide the result by 14. And we get 0.6999 when rounded up. Sine of B equals 0.6999 rounded up. So we take our inverse sine of that number to find our angle B. And we find, again using the calculator, take the inverse sine of that number, 3.172. So B equals 3.172, or 3.17. Well, checking my calculation here just a moment, the inverse sine of 0.6999 is not 3.172, so I think I must have hit a button here that was wrong. Let's try that one more time. If I hit 0.6999 and I hit inverse sine of that number, I get 44.42 degrees. So let's change our number right here. Angle B should not be anywhere near 3 degrees right here. We said 44.42 degrees, and that seems a little bit more reasonable. 44.42 degrees. And so finding angle A should be pretty easy. We're going to take 180 degrees, subtract from that our angle of 78.46 degrees, subtract from that our angle of 44.42 degrees, and we'll find that angle A is equal to 180 minus 78.46 minus 44.42 gives us 57.12. 57.12 degrees. And so, if we do a little check right here to make sure our numbers work out, we find that if we have our sides aligned with our angles, that the side of 12 for A, 10 for B, 14 for C are set opposite of 57.12 for angle A. We have 44.42 degrees for angle B, and we had 78.46 degrees. It looks like our smallest side opposite our smallest angle, largest side opposite our largest angle, and so we're done.